Sit, Coco, sit. Good dog. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Retail Archaeology. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at CVS Pharmacy. Before heading into this first location, I wanted to check out this payphone, but when I got close to it, I realized it's just the shell of an old payphone. I don't even see these shells of payphones around that often anymore, and if you notice the blue and red flashing, there are cops in the parking lot at this location as well, so it looks like I picked a great location to check out, but here we are in the actual CVS location. And this is one of the stranger CVS stores that I've been in before. It feels like it's much bigger than it needs to be, and it also seems like the ceilings are a lot higher than what I normally see in a CVS store, so it just makes the whole store feel really empty. The lack of customers in the store is also making it feel that way, although this was filmed in the evening after the pharmacy part of the store closed, and the pharmacy part is, I think, the biggest draw into CVS stores now. CVS is the largest drugstore chain in the United States with right around 9,000 locations. It was founded in 1963 and was owned by its original owners, the Melville Corporation, up until 1996. The Melville Corporation might be a name you're not familiar with, but you're probably familiar with some of the retailers that they owned. Besides owning CVS, they owned store chains such as Marshall's, Foot Action, Chess King, and KB Toys. However, in 1996, they decided to focus on just the drugstore and pharmacy portion of their business, and they sold off all of the other store chains that they owned and changed the name of the company to the CVS Corporation. After that, they spent the 90s and early to mid-2000s purchasing up regional drugstores all over the United States and absorbing them into the CVS Corporation. In 2017, they decided they needed to purchase an insurance company and ended up acquiring Aetna for $69 billion in 2018. It turns out purchasing an insurance company may not have been a good idea. For the third quarter of 2024, the insurance side of CVS's business reported a $924 million loss. The retail side of their business is also facing the same issue that every major drugstore chain seems to be facing, which is decreasing sales since the pandemic. Because of the issues in the retail side of the business, they are currently in the process of closing around 900 stores, or about 10% of their total stores. They also announced recently that they will be laying off around 2,600 people in their corporate offices. Did you know that CVS is an acronym for Consumer Value Stores? That was the store's original names when they opened in 1963, and then they switched over to using the acronym in 1969. I wouldn't consider these consumer value stores anymore, though. It seems like everything they sell besides pharmaceuticals could be purchased at a grocery store or at a place like Target or Walmart. Except for maybe these die-cast classic cars. It seems like the only places I see these die-cast cars at are gas stations and drugstores like CVS. I think a big part of the drugstore business model in general is besides the pharmacy, there's really not much of a reason to come into them anymore. Another thing they used to get used for was developing film and buying disposable cameras, and there used to be like a whole wall of this stuff in drugstores like CVS, and now it's been reduced to just this one little rack. They've got a couple boxes of Polaroid film. They've also got some SD cards here for digital cameras. Although I don't think people would even really be coming in here for SD cards for their digital cameras because all of these are much more expensive than can be found literally anywhere else. Now, CVS does still do film developing, and I actually purchased one of those disposable cameras while I was here because I thought it would be fun to go take it out and take pictures of weird stuff and then bring it back to another CVS store and see how the film developing works now. I'm not sure how much longer CVS plans to be in the film developing process though, based upon what happened when I took that camera in to get developed. I did eventually get the camera developed, and we'll take a look at the pictures at the end of the video. Now let's go check out store number 2. Instead of police in front of this CVS location, there's like a weird little mini park. I guess you could have a picnic in front of CVS if you wanted to. I noticed on this bench here there's some empty bottles and things, and it looks like somebody had a pretty rough night. Those are 3 empty bottles of generic Pedialyte, an empty juice bottle, and a wrapper for a Kind bar. And I'm pretty sure those all came from this CVS location. I think this might be the nicest looking exterior I've ever seen on a CVS before. But let's go ahead and head on into the store and take a look at getting my camera developed. CVS no longer offers on-site film developing. You have to fill out a little envelope form thing, and then they mail the camera or the film to the CVS photo lab, and the pictures are supposed to get mailed back to the store a couple days later for pickup. When I started filling out the envelope though, the CVS employee looked at me and said, I don't think you want to do that. It takes a lot longer to get the pictures back than what we claim, and a lot of times the film or cameras just get lost, so I decided to get the camera developed somewhere else. It looks like there's one less reason to go into a CVS store. CVS also seems to have fallen victim to the same thing a lot of retail chains have, which is just really boring and bland store designs. A giant word like beverage in a very plain font is not visually appealing. I checked this location out during the day, and something you're probably noticing is it seems to be just as devoid of customers as the first location that I filmed at night. There were actually about a dozen people sitting over in the pharmacy section waiting for prescriptions to get filled. But there was nobody actually walking around the store, and I think that says a lot that people would rather sit on chairs over in front of the pharmacy waiting for the prescription than kind of walk around the store and kill some time and check things out. I just don't think there's much of a reason to walk around and maybe grab other things you might need when you can get it a lot cheaper at literally any other store. I just don't think the convenience of being able to grab a couple of other things you might need while you're grabbing your prescription is worth the markup anymore. And also, is it even really convenient when you have to try and track an employee down because something that you need happens to be locked up in a case? I normally don't even bother going into CVS anymore. I do actually get prescriptions filled at CVS, but I just pick them up in the drive-thru. I really have no reason to go into the store and look at junk like state-specific souvenirs. I wonder how much of this crap they actually sell. I also wonder who's buying Claire's stuff in CVS, although this rack is pretty interesting. It is a miniature little Claire's down to the way that the rack looks and the items that are for sale on it. There are signs all over saying health is everything, but I think CVS needs to make a decision. Do they want to be in the healthcare business, or do they want to be in the drugstore business? The purchase of Aetna seems to be dragging the whole company down, and also their stores are not performing well either, and I don't know that they can fix both things at the same time. It wouldn't surprise me if that 900 store closure number ends up increasing over the next couple of years. I also think they need to figure out a way to lower their prices and understand that people aren't coming to buy things like printer ink at CVS. What are your thoughts on CVS though? Do you shop here, or are you like me and you just get your prescriptions filled and get out? Let me know down in the comments below. But I'm going to go ahead and head out and actually get my disposable camera developed, and we'll take a look at the pictures that I took. So here's the camera I bought. It's a waterproof quick snap camera from Fujifilm. And the reason I bought a waterproof one was because I wanted to try and do some fountain cam with this disposable camera. This thing is just a really simple 35mm camera, and it's basically more of a toy than anything else. I ended up sending the camera to a company called thedarkroom.com, and they're not sponsoring this video or anything. I paid to have the film developed and all of that. And based upon my experience this first time with them, I would recommend getting film developed through them. It was actually really easy. I got high resolution scans of the pictures back in just a couple of days, and a few days after that I got my pictures. And not just the pictures, I got the negatives back as well. When you get film developed at CVS or Walgreens, they no longer give you the negatives. Here's a little proof sheet. You can kind of get an idea of the pictures that I took. And I just wanted to take the camera around and take pictures of things that I would normally take pictures of for the channel, like this fountain here. And here is the picture inside the fountain, and it's not that great. This is what I mean about this camera being more of a toy. This picture was taken inside the Macy's at Superstition Spring Center, and it was not that dark in there. This is another one in the Macy's, and yeah, the pictures from this camera when taken indoors come out fairly dark. It's more of an outdoor camera. Here's another one in the mall. I think the pictures that I took in Superstition Springs Mall are some of my favorite. Even though they're super dark, they have kind of almost like a analog horror feel to them, especially that one. That's a picture of the old Sears. But I have to say, all in all, this was a fun experience playing with the disposable camera and then going through the process of getting film developed. I can't remember the last time I got film developed. These pictures of this fountain were actually the first pictures that I took with this camera. And that's a shot inside the fountain. And as you can see, also not great. Not nearly as good as normal fountain cam. This Hallmark location was featured in one of the first videos that I did many years ago about Hallmark Gold Crown stores. Even though the camera did technically perform better outside than inside, all of the outdoor pictures are kind of blown out, and then the indoor ones are way too dark. I like this one in particular though, because the cooler case all the way in the back is very bright, and then the rest of the store is just dark as hell. That's another shot inside the grocery store. I didn't really know what to expect when I sent this camera in to get developed, and I think that was part of the fun of it. When you take pictures with your cell phone, you instantly know what picture you got, but this really reminded me of being young and that anticipation of waiting to get your pictures back to see if you actually got good pictures and how they looked. Now that I've experienced this, I kinda want to get a nicer little 35mm film camera just to play with. This is a Big Lots store near me that just recently closed. It was also featured in a video I did about Big Lots, and then this is a shot inside the Big Lots through the window, and that barely worked. Although, I still kinda like it. And then this is a Dollar Tree that's right next to that Big Lots. I think this is where I'm going to wrap up the video, but I will leave you with some of the high-resolution scans of some of my favorite pictures that I took with this little camera. I hope you've enjoyed this look at CVS. As always, thanks for watching. Want to see your name here? Head on over to patreon.com/retailarchaeology to find out how you can help support the channel. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my video on CVS Pharmacy. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and also follow at the social media links down there because that's the best way to keep up with what's going on with the channel.